What's up, Nick? So I'm here. I'm here with Nick. I've been working with Nick for I don't know around I don't know 8 or 9 months now. Nick owns White Horse Solutions, which is a moving company, and White Glove. Actually, why don't you just tell him what the company is, Nick? It's your company.
Yeah, so we're a white glove delivery company. We work with like interior designers or contractors doing remodeling or new construction. So when they're ordering new furniture or building materials like windows, doors, flooring, stuff like that, mainly furniture, we'll receive them here in our warehouse. We inspect everything, take photos, kind of give a report, and then we store it and we'll go back and deliver everything, set up beds, hang artwork, and just kind of be like the crew for the designers when they're getting the houses set up for their customers.
Absolutely. And so one of the things I'm glad you mentioned that because one of the things that we've worked on is just the organization of so let's call it the organizational chart in terms of you being the owner, Valerie being the GM, Brittany, just the different levels of management, let's call it. And one of the things that we've worked on is everybody really stepping into that exact role and understanding what that specific role means and what that specific role is expected to do. And I think that's changed a lot. I don't think it has changed a lot of I'd say the communication between the employees and, well, let's just call Valerie, for example, and you get far less calls now because we've structured this in a way that you don't get a lot of calls, which was the point.
Yeah, for sure. I think, we kind of promoted two guys that have been here for a long time into more of like a leadership role, and just kind of, I mean, they were sort of doing it before, but giving them like a title and just kind of the like, okay, that you guys are in charge out there. If there's any issues, you need to try to figure it out or address it. And if you can't, then between you or you and Valerie, most of the time you should be able to figure it out unless it's something dramatic that needs to go to like an upper level.
Right. But before, you would get all those messages as opposed to them going through Valerie. And also, I think, well, I've observed your guys and like they've really taken on this leadership role. And like you said, they've really stepped up and stepped into that role and become the leader that they're supposed to be.
Yeah. I mean, I think that they were confident in their abilities, but just telling them like, okay, you guys are in charge out there. If anything goes wrong or there's any issues, you guys are the ones that need to be addressing it and figuring it out, and making sure that the guys below them know that, hey, if these two guys ask you or tell you to do something, you need to do it. And at the same time, if you have an issue, go talk to one of these guys. Don't just automatically call the office or text or call me. If you guys can figure it out with G and Mike being in charge, which most of the time you should, then that eliminates a lot of the back and forth that's unnecessary.
Yeah, which ultimately saves the company time and money because if you're not answering 4,000 questions you don't need to be answering, then your time is freed up and you can make more money. So I think it's really, yeah, I think, and you're right with the confidence in the guys. You're right. I was speaking more about their confidence with, being, actually being a leader. And as you mentioned, they were already leading the team anyway, but give them that title really helped them step into that role, I feel like.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that we had kind of said like, you guys aren't in charge out there. You've been here the longest, but telling them, giving them like a supervisor title and, putting their names on the website and getting them business cards that say that, and just making them feel like they are leaders, and just like with supporting tools, I think it made a big difference in just their mindset to be like, okay, yeah, we are the leaders out here. If there's clients that are unhappy, that's ultimately on us. So we need to make sure that we're doing everything we can to make things go smoothly.
Yeah, and some of the other things that we implemented too is like, we've made sure that they're doing all their checklists, all that stuff systematic now, to where we're not really making any mistakes because there's checks and balances. The other thing, you've hit goal every single month that I've been working with you, correct?
Yeah, usually, the January through kind of April, I guess, is sort of slower months, but we've hit it every single month this month, and it's been a little different with where it's coming from because our warehouse has been killing it lately. But I mean, overall, it all goes into the same pot and it's all one team. So everybody, not just the guys out there, but the people here too. I mean, everybody's just been killing it.
Yeah, and what's interesting though is, how many guys short have you been over the last, let's just say average over the last 3 months?
I mean, at least one, at times two. And yeah,
Yeah,
especially like the guys that we put in that leadership role, they've been busting their ass, making, overtime. I mean, shit, G worked until he didn't even leave the job site until 6 o'clock last night. And he was parked out here at, 7 o'clock waiting for the next day. So no complaints or anything.
I'll tell you one thing, Nick, I got to say about you and how you have structured your company and your employees is they love you. Like those two guys point blank said, it does not matter how much money somebody else offers me, I'm not going anywhere. And like they meant that. And so I got to say to you, that's really impressive that you have people that loyal. And most of your employees have been with you for quite some time, like years.
Yeah. I mean, those guys have been here, sure, I mean, probably 5 years at least. And then the other ones are going on a couple years too. So it's just one of the things that we try to make sure that they know that we appreciate them. We're trying, different ways to show them that we appreciate them, like giving them this monthly bonus and trying to figure out other ways to incentivize them. But I think just ultimately, like, we're a small company, but we try and help each other out when we can, whether it's with work or outside of work, and just making sure that they know that we actually care about them and it's not just like a job. It's kind of more like a, community or like a family, really.
Right. Absolutely. And you do a really good job of that. The last thing, as far as the organizational, like we implemented the CRM, which, sends messages and emails and all the stuff CRMs do. And that really helped with organization and as far as like sending out, a newsletter and stuff that, seems really simple and can slip through the cracks. But that's one of the things I think that also is super important for, small businesses, because a lot of small businesses don't use CRMs. So I think it's really important.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in the past, if we had to send out like a mass email about, something, some changes in the company or rates changing or anything like that, we'd have to go through and add, potentially hundreds of emails into one Outlook email, and it can take a lot of time.
Yeah. And now you just click one button and it gets sent. Yeah. So, well, Nick, I really appreciate I really appreciate you doing this with me and just really appreciate working with you, dude. It's been really a pleasure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, thanks for everything and, teaching us. We learned a lot of stuff, and I think the guys learned some different things that I wouldn't have thought to teach them. And like I said, everybody seems like they're crushing it. They're happy to be here at work every day, and we're making some pretty good money. So it's going well.
There you go. That's the whole idea. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that.